Council report.
On our January 21st meeting, we entered into negotiations with Enterprise Fleet so that we could purchase vehicles for the city on a rotational basis. We listened to the town hall and presentation for survival flight. We tabled the survival flight for ground EMS services. We approved an updated agreement with the 522 district for all of our ambulance services. That's what I'll do.
Thank you. All right, now presentation from Musco Lighting concerning field of play lighting at the ARC. Appreciate it.
You have 3 minutes.
Shoot, it was a 2-hour drive. No, we're good. No, appreciate you, or evening all. Appreciate you guys having us. Thank you to Mr. Ford and Courtney for putting up with us the last few weeks and making sure we got all the information in and just give you guys the best possible options as possible here. Quick introduction to myself. My name is Rico Velasquez. I've been with Musco Sports Lighting for close to 8 years now. Spent my first years up in North and South Dakota. Got real sick and tired of driving in this weather we drove in today in North and South Dakota. So my wife and 3 daughters, we live in Yukon here now. Been here since 2020. Absolutely love Oklahoma. And then I'll let Mark introduce himself.
Mark Stanky, I live in Calumet. Center born, center bred. I'm down to be center dead. So been in sports lighting business about 7 years. Dane Electric is our parent company, which we purchased Shawnee Lighting about 8 years ago. And we've done multiple projects from Bricktown Ballpark, Lloyd Noble, just finished the OU softball facility, did repairs on Boone Pickens, did the OSU baseball facility, and a number of smaller communities and schools. And so we used Musco primarily. Shawnee Lighting has been in business since 1980. They actually originally did the facility, whatever they originally built, the lighting that's existing, and has done sports lighting, from what I can tell, all over the state. Billy Odell is our project manager. He's the original owner of Shawnee Lighting, and him and his brother started Shawnee Lighting back in the day. And they put in all the way to Texas, Motor Speedway, to Charlotte, North Carolina. They've done sports lighting all over the country. And I just try to continue that tradition with them. And so I enjoy doing what we do, especially with a product that we can trust when we put it in. So if there's any questions of me on the install part, I'll be the lead on the install on this project. So any questions you need or any concerns at any time while we're on site, then open book, whatever you need. If you think something's wrong, or think something's wonky, then I'll try to clear it up for you or fix it if I can. So
It's important to note that we currently have Musco Lighting out there on our light towers right now.
yes, sir.
Oh, Musco Lighting, but it's Musco Lighting in the West.
It's called Light Structure 2. There's that generation, and then there's a Light Structure Green, and then there's the LED. Light Structure Green is no longer in existence for manufacturing, and I can get parts for Light Structure 2 right now. I think we'll give you an insurance quote that we can replace the housings and all that, but you're looking at upwards of close to $500,000 to get it back to original. So just for
To fix what you got.
just FYI for what you have right now. And so, and that would not cover any warranty with this new system. Since you do have a Musco system in existence, the cabinets would all be new, the new contactors and everything, and it would have a controlling system, which Rico will explain that. You have some information there in front of you also on the controlling. They will know you have an outage before you know you have light out. And so that's probably the biggest problem right now is Sony's out. It's not playable right now. I wouldn't be real safe to play right now. But as it sets with your Musco system, you put a new Musco system in with a retrofit your system, you would bring it to a 25-year warranty, full 100%. You wouldn't pay anything for the 25 years. And so it would be, if the light goes out, let's say if 5 lights go out, they would send us or a Musco tech out with, the labor, the lift, material, nothing would be on the city for 25 years. And I can speak to that because I've done Musco warranty work on the Green Series, which some of those have 25, a lot of those have 10-year, and I can go, if it's 9 years, 11 months, I say, hey, there's a capacitor out, light bulb out, they'll send us out there to fix it, get it back to 100%. So their warranty is pretty impressive. Now, I'm not selling Musco, I'm just here to represent Shawnee Lighting, but I know the product, so that's why I enjoy installing a Musco product, because I can trust it, and I don't have to worry about having to go back out. If we do, we'll get it taken care of. So,
And we'll get into a bunch of those details and stuff too. And as I get going, I get excited. So if anybody has any questions and needs to interrupt me or whatnot, feel free to do so at any time. A brief history in regards to Musco. Musco's been around for over 45 years. The same two gentlemen that started 45 years ago are still the owners today. We're not publicly traded. We're not on Wall Street. I don't have a board of trustees to appease at the end of every quarter. There's still two little Iowa boys that sign my checks every 2 weeks, which we consider is a big deal. Another big factor in Musco is we are made in the USA. We are not assembled. We are not put together. We are not some weird sticker with the USA flag on it. We are actually made here. We hit that percentage to be a made in the USA product. As soon as Alva were to order parts from us, we would then build it in our factories here in Iowa and then ship it right down here to Oklahoma. So everything you get from us will be made in the US. Our manufacturing plant is in Muscatine, Iowa, and then our business headquarters is in Oskaloosa. We do have manufacturing plants in China as well as Korea. The only reason we have one in Korea is if you want to sell anything in Korea, you have to manufacture there. That's the main reason we have that. And then China is to service the rest of the world. We're opposite in regards to, we'll do a lot of stuff here in the US and then actually ship it to China for them to use worldwide. Radios, certain electrical pieces, certain intelligence pieces, we'll program and put together here in Iowa and then actually send it overseas. So everything you get from us will come from our Muscatine headquarters though. To kind of get started, I like to go over a little bit of terminology, just to kind of get us all on the same page here. The biggest term with sports lighting that you'll hear is foot candles. Foot candles is just how much light is on the field of play. My goal isn't to sell you as many fixtures as possible, it's to get you to that right light level that's adequate for play. As of right now, lamps being out and whatnot, you guys have 50 foot candles in the infield, 30 in the outfield. That's what we're going to get you. If you guys do talk to other vendors, talk to other people, that's what's important. It's not number of fixtures, it's not matching one for one. It's, hey, do I have 50 foot candles in the infield? Do I have 30 in the outfield? Soccer's a little different. Soccer's just 30 throughout the playing field, just to kind of give you some reference. Another term you'll hear is uniformity, and that's just the evenness and smoothness throughout the field of play. It should look like a clean sheet of ice when you're done. You shouldn't have hot spots. You shouldn't have dark spots. It should be as clean and crisp as possible. And then the final two terms is spill and glare. These are super important under LED. LED is a very bright, intense light fixture. If it's not properly controlled, it's tough to play under. It's tough for neighbors, it's tough for people driving by, and with y'all having so many fields around here, if there's a glary field over here and a glary field over there, your problem amplifies because of so many fields that are around. So light control is a big deal, and that's something we harp on a lot. The way we define glare is that discomfort or uncomfortableness you feel when you see the light source. So that lamp bulb diode, you get those purple bubbles in your eyes, that's glare, and that's 100% what we're trying to avoid. To give you some reference here, this is y'all's fixture out there right now. So we have a little bit of reflectors underneath there to help control light, but there's no visors. As far as technology, that was the best we had at the time, and that's what we put out here. This is our trend throughout the years, adding visors, adding more reflectors. This is that light structure green that Mark was talking about here. That's our LED product here today, very similar to what's on the table. You'll notice it's a rectangular fixture in comparison to a circular type fixture, which is totally different from any other sports lighter that's been out. To be able to harness that LED light, it was a lot easier to do with a rectangular fixture, and with us being able to put that visor on, it helped a ton. Going back to that definition of glare, the way glare is measured is in terms of candela. So like a high beam headlight on your car is probably 80 to 90,000 candela. A low beam is probably 20 to 30,000. This is what y'all have in your fields right now. So you're in between a low beam headlight and a high beam headlight as far as light intensity coming off of those fixtures. You can see Musco's trend throughout the years. We go from 34, 21 to 13. This was our last rendition of metal halide. So we were below a low beam headlight as far as light intensity or light coming off of that fixture. That's the LED product here today. So if you go back to the definition, the discomfort and uncomfortableness you feel when you see the light source. So if you can block that light source while still getting light down onto the field, that's really going to prevent the glare and the light intensity, and so you're going to have a very low candela reading. This is an LED competitor of ours. They're well above a high beam headlight as far as light intensity. There's only 2 LEDs up top there. I like to point that out because there's 5 metal halides way over here. So that just proves how bright and intense these LED fixtures are. LED in a true sense is a spotlight type fixture. Those individual diodes that are all in there, they're spotlighting to the point where they want to go. So if you're not able to actually harness and control that light, you're going to be basically looking into a spotlight the whole time. And again, with y'all's complexes, it just magnifies from how many fields that are here. We put a 15-inch visor on the front of all of our fixtures with reflectors underneath it. So essentially what that light does is hits that reflector and then shoots straight back down. This chunky part back here, this is our heatsink. This is just mechanical in nature. This just constantly throws heat out of the back of the fixture. And I'll show you a little bit about that here in a second.
That's how the light was set, actually, about like that. So people always ask, the most asked question, 2 asked questions, is when are you going to aim them? Well, by the time we put them in the air and get them in place, they're aimed, they're done. And then there's another, you'll go over this, but there's a ball tracker light at the bottom. There's a light that shines at the bottom of the ball. Just you'll be able to do that, but go ahead.
No, you're just, the vantage point of that fixture, like Mark was saying, is just the tip of that visor. So ideally, at level of play, whether you're umpiring or batting or taking camera shots or you're driving past the facility, your vantage point is going to be the tip of that visor. You're not going to have those diodes glaring you in the face or glaring you in the face, if you will. I just wanted to break down our system really, really quick. You guys obviously have most of these parts and pieces that you currently have Musco out there now. A lot of the parts and pieces are still the same, just electronically things have changed, obviously, with LED, or metal halide LED. So we break it down into 5 easy pieces, the first of which is a precast concrete base. That's what you guys already have. That's that little concrete pier that's sticking out of the ground. And then obviously the galvanized steel pole. That pole is just slip fit right on top of that base. It's not held together with anchor bolts, rebar, any of that. It's literally pressurized down onto that base. And we still do that to this day, even on new installs. This third component is a big, big difference that makes us different from a lot of other competitors in the industry, because this is our standard. We put all of the electrical components in a box 10 feet above grade. Your surge protection, your disconnect switch, your fusing. 9.5 out of 10 things you need to work on with this system is accessible via ladder. You do not have to go to the top of the pole every single time to fix something. New LED manufacturers will sell you things, maybe on the cheaper end, maybe not, with stuff at the top of the pole. So you think maintenance-wise, you're going to have to go up every single time to change a fuse, every single time to look at a capacitor, every single time to look at anything. You're going to spend thousands of dollars to replace a $10 part. That's usually what ends up happening. Fourth component is our wire harness. All of our wiring is internal. And the way we're able to get away with that is, as soon as you bolt the fixture onto the cross arm there, you're plugged in and good to go. There's no extra connections, there's no wire hanging out, there's nothing accessible to the birds or the wind or the snow or anything like that. With other manufacturers, you will see some exposed wire. You'll see kind of it looped exposed into the cross arm and then connected to power. Ours is a full-fledged, as clean and crisp system as it can get. Mark was talking about our ball tracker earlier. So our light cutoff at that top pole level is so good that when that baseball, softball, football gets above them poles, you can't see it, it's dark. So what we ended up having to do is put a fixture about 15 to 20 feet up on the pole. We actually flip it upside down and turn it on, and that actually illuminates the underside of the ball. So we call that a ball tracker. It doesn't move, it doesn't flicker on and off, it's just constantly on. But what that allows you to do is actually see the under part of the ball. So if you're that punt returner, kick returner, you can actually track the ball. And we like to say you can't have the excuse anymore of losing the ball in lights. Ideally, that doesn't happen anymore.
I've had schools call the shop and say, hey, these guys are putting the lights upside down. So I'm only saying that because people ask me, why do they have the lights upside down? You don't want those lights right side up or down. You won't be able to see.
I've heard it called a bug zapper too.
Oh, yeah.
I like to show this image because we are doing more than just replacing your guys' fixtures. We're actually replacing a whole section of the pole. So from what you see here in yellow, all of that would be brand new with your LED system. We will take off that top section of the pole, replace it with a brand new one. So not only is that top section new, all your cross arms are brand new as well, along with the fixtures. We will replace the wire harness that's inside of the pole here, and then we will replace this box. So instead of having ballasts in here that are buzzing and crackling and doing all that now, You'll have drivers that are as quiet as can be. And all of that will be brand new. I believe anybody else you'll talk to, they'll use all of that existing equipment as much as they can. They'll use the same cross arms, they'll use the same wiring, and they'll use the same boxes. We are trying to replace everything, because if we're going to warranty it for, like Mark said, 25 years, we want to make sure it's going to last. And if it doesn't last, then we make sure we're going to come out and fix it on our own. Show you a couple fun images here. So this is a private school in Arizona that we lost probably close to 10 years ago now. They went with the lowest bid. Problem is it was blinding the intersection on the other side of the road. If you live in Arizona, they're really, really big on dark skies. They're big with astrology out there. Being next to California, there's just a lot of different rules and regulations about environmental spill. So what we had to do is come back 2 years later and put our fixtures onto these poles. And that's the difference. And that's LED to LED, just 2 different manufacturers, 2 different philosophies, 2 different methods. So you can see obviously the field's very well lit. There's no spill or glare. You're not staring into light constantly. And we were not blinding the parking on the other side. I want to show this image because it gives you a good example of what y'all's park would look like pending. Obviously you can see there's light kind of going every which way. It's probably not much different from what you have now, just because, again, the technology at the time, it's 20-some years old. But this is what we could get it to now. So again, you see that visor, and I wish you could see it a little bit better, but there's almost a perfect triangle of light coming from that visor, not spilling any which way. I don't know if you can even tell on that image back there, but you can see most of the parking lot. Well, you can't. But you can see most of the parking lot with this spill light here. And then in this new one, the parking lot's completely dark because there's no light leaving the playing field. I tell people if you want to draw a line in the sand and you don't want light past that line, you can get pretty darn close to making that happen. Also with this system, we would hook you guys up with what's called Control Link. Again, this is a control system that's all ran and operated by Musco. If you guys were to have any issues in the future with scheduling, setting up fields with lights, you call Musco, you will get someone to answer you in Iowa. It's not a third party, it's not anybody else we hire this out to. It is Musco employees answering the phone in Iowa. People test us on New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, whatever day you want to test us on, somebody will be there to answer the phone. It won't be robots, it won't be anybody helping you third world, it'll be someone here in the U.S.
This is where it comes into the warranty of having outages. If your facility, let's say, is 247.3 amps, because what I do is, as soon as the install is complete, I call and get the system commissioned. So they go through Wi-Fi, they commission it. If it's, let's say, 247 amps, and 6 months from now, they see it drop to 242 amps, well, then they know there's an outage. And they'll know which pole it is. They'll send us an email, or they'll send the Musco technician an email saying, you go to this pole, this is the light that's out. They know exactly what light's out, and send us out with parts to get it fixed. So you will know probably when we get here, hey, you got an outage out. Oh, really? Okay, go fix it. So it's just one of those things. It's really nice for facilities that are out a ways away and doesn't have to worry about calling somebody in and paying drive time and everything else to be able to get your facility back, especially with your tournaments. You said 4 tournaments, maybe this year possibly, at least 4 tournaments. And so it's
Four each.
Nice. And then plus, you got outages on your college field. They probably get a little salty too for you. So
yeah, as far as the monitoring goes, ideally we'll know something's wrong ahead of time before you guys even know it. And the only involvement you guys will have is us saying, hey, Mark's going to be here Friday. Mark's gone. That's the only involvement. You don't have to worry about scheduling, paying anybody, doing anything. We take care of everything, full comprehensive, for, again, that 25-year period. One deal we did include in our package is what we call our show light package. So there's a lot of cities that are adopting this. Schools have adopted it a little bit quicker than cities, but most facilities have maybe a championship field at a complex, a field that gets used a little bit more. So we outfitted one field at each facility with this show light package. So you'd be able to make the lights dance, flicker, and actually go to the beat of the music. If you guys have any licensed songs, you can make it really as cool as you'd like. Let's see if I can get some full screen. just think it'd be a nice added feature to a complex. If, little kids are in a championship game or, a big bracket tournament or anything that just makes it so much more of a big deal if lights are flickering while they're getting announced or their team's getting introduced or somebody wins the championship and you start dancing the lights. I mean, they feel like pros at that point. So we did outfit each facility, one field at each facility, including soccer with that. So if that's something you guys would want, absolutely we can keep it in there. If you want us to take it out, we can look at that as well. But I felt it was important, again, to kind of differentiate. A city complex that has this show light nearby is Kellett Park in Enid, if anyone's been out there recently. We did not include any sort of color lighting or anything like that. That would be an additional cost, but you do have a little package for the lights to dance and whatnot. And again, we can get it to go to the sync of or the beat of the music. So if you guys have any licensed songs, we can get that done for you. Warranty and all this stuff. Mark's already touched on it a couple times, but this is our big claim to fame. Anybody else you see, talk to, will offer you a 10-year warranty. My backlash to that is these systems are not bought every 10 years. They're not bought every 20 years. We're lucky if they're bought every 30 years. So we feel a comprehensive warranty that's going to make sure that it lasts for a long period of time is super, super important. So we would offer you guys a 25-year, and that's parts, labor, and equipment warranty. So if we need a helicopter, crane, and lift in year 22 to get something fixed, it's on Musco's dime to get that done. You guys will have zero maintenance costs on this system for 25 years.
I really would like to rent a helicopter.
It's been close. And then that would also include the existing base and the existing pole, which we are not changing now. So everything from Musco from start to finish, you guys would have under a 25-year warranty again. So this gives you a good image of what the outfield could look like at some of your guys' ball fields. If you've been to any others in the state that are not Musco, you may notice that there's just light one everywhere. There's stuff in batters' eyes and whatnot. But with us, you can barely even tell the lights are on. To be honest, half the time when I do light tests, I got to run over and be like, oh yeah, that is on. We're good. It's fine. Because again, we're not trying to cause any sort of glare. We're trying to be the best neighbors humanly possible. It's another good one. That's Porter. Most people are shocked that Porter has turf way out there over near Tulsa. Another thing we included is we are doing parking lots as well. So a couple of the poles by baseball, there'll be lights on the back to help light that parking lot. And then same thing at soccer as well. We put some lights on the back to help light that parking lot across the street. We felt that was important if folks are going to park there to have a little bit of light and just make it easier on you guys. You guys could also double it as security potentially and have them on separate from the field lights as well. But that's something we'll have to look at.
It's kind of what they did at Shoto when we did theirs. All their reversing lights, they can set up on a schedule. That's a global schedule. So dusk to dawn in New York is different than dusk to dawn here. So it wouldn't be on a timer; it'd be on a global timer. And so they would come on. You wouldn't have to reset or anything. They just put it on global timer, let it be. And I think the facility guy there, that's his favorite part. He don't care about the lights. He likes the parking lot lights. Like, okay, we just done the parking lot lights for you then.
No, and there is a lot of imitations out there, but I'll be honest with you, as soon as somebody says we can do what Musco can do, just know that we are trying to set the standard. We've been around a super long time. We've lit these past Olympics. The Super Bowl you just recently watched was lit by Musco as well there in New Orleans. We've got a ton of different references here, but just the stuff that separates us, like I said, is the 25-year warranty, parts, labor, and equipment. Having our boxes down low is a big, big deal as far as costs go in the future. Spilling glare control. It's a huge, huge part of the aspect now with LED, making sure that you're controlling that light. No exposed wire. All of our controls that you'll have is based off of cellular service. So anywhere in the country you have cellular service. If you're up in Canada, Kentucky, Wyoming, Montana, it does not matter. As long as you have cell coverage, you can operate your lights here in Alva, Oklahoma. Lens type. So this is another big deal. All of our fixtures are made with tempered glass, and about 90% of everybody else uses polycarbonate. The problem with polycarbonate is it yellow, fades, and cracks over time. Tempered glass will be the same on day one as it is on year 25. We have a ton of references. We're made in the USA. Some stuff that's nearby. Fairview, Covington, Sealing, Taloga, City of El Reno, City of Mustang, City of Enid. We do all of Oklahoma City stuff. And then we also did Bricktown Ballpark, ASA Hall of Fame, and the Drillers Stadium. The same product all those people get, whether it's a pro stadium or whether it's coming here, it's off the same assembly line. We don't have an A, B, C, and D line. All we do is sports lighting, and you guys get the same product as the pros do.
But other than that,
It's not Musco's fault that Kansas City lost, right?
No, we did do Kansas City though. Just another image, that's Tuttle softball. But unless anybody had any questions, that's all we have.
Questions?
Design-wise, I think there was a couple of different options for design. There is a basic retrofit, that we would retrofit the poles in place, and then there's another option that we can move poles closer to the fences. It's what'd you say, $85,000 higher?
That sounds right.
To move poles closer to the fence, and which isn't going to matter either way. Where they're setting, what we would like would be the original field, and so you would have the outfield would still be past the fence, would still have light on it. If we moved them in, then just your fields would have light on. If that makes sense.
So yeah, and we would not have to use the 2 outfield poles at softball. We would be able to use just the 4 poles. So if you want to leave those standing, they wouldn't turn on anymore. And if you guys wanted to use them at a different facility later on, you sure could. Or we did have another price in there to take those down and move them to another area as well. Baseball, we would look at kind of cutting some poles and maybe moving some poles if needed. These 2 on the east side of baseball, we'd like to move 2 poles in if at all possible. Just having the poles that far back really makes it tough to get the light needed in center field, and then you will get shadowing from the fences, probably that you guys have now. But just to make it that top-notch tier, we'd like to move them if at all possible. Ideally with baseball here, we could just use 4 poles, and then this one we would use 6 poles as well, because y'all have the T-ball fields out there in the outfield as well. So we wouldn't even need to retrofit all poles to get you guys where you need, as long as we can move a couple in, but we're fine with retrofitting the existing as well. Just want to give you guys as many options as possible to look at.
It wouldn't be retrofitting every one of them.
Most of
On the basic, it wouldn't be retrofitting every one of them.
Most of them.
It'd be six per pole, or 6 per.
and they would still be controlled by the same
Yes.
boxes that are already in there.
Yeah, you just get new updated boxes, and then you'd be able to do everything from your phone now.
Right.
And then we would have a couple fixtures off the back of those poles there for that parking lot.
But it's pulling from the same source.
Yes.
Is what we mean.
Yeah, same room.
Yeah.
Those boxes inside that room will be new.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's handy. You guys did a really good job.
Thanks.
That's all we had.
These are the 2 poles that will get parking lot lights. Those 2 furthest north poles get reversing lights to light the front.
And that's just on the baseball side, not on the softball side.
Right, I think softball already has the parking lot lights over here, correct?
Right.
And then,
Soccer would also have that angle towards the parking lot.
yeah, those first 2 poles, it'll get light all the way. I'm trying to see where the foot candles. And typically, light in a parking lot's like 1 to 2 foot candles. I think here it's 1.5 all the way up.
Yeah, pretty darn close. Yeah, your standard parking lot at a Walmart or Dollar General only has to be 1 foot candle. So you guys would be at that or above at most of that parking lot.
And your show package on soccer will end up in your concession stand. So that's a bit visible. So if somebody's there, they can work the controls, or if they want to have a show light on that field. And we would do it on the college field is where I would suggest doing that show package on.
So the controls there.
We'll be in that concession.
It's a hardwired tablet. We do not like to do it on our phones. We don't like to do anything Wi-Fi. We almost like to do stuff a little bit old school. A hardwired connection is always better than a Wi-Fi connection. You hear horror stories of people pressing a show and it not going, and then they press it again, and then 5 minutes later the whole thing freaks out. We don't want that to happen. So we actually hardwire a Cat5 cable from the contactor cabinet to that tablet. That's why we'd like to keep it in the press box or concession stand there. So that way it's click, and as soon as you want it off, click, it's done.
There is a press box on that field. We can put it over there. It's just a long ways to get the Cat5 from point A to point B. So if you absolutely want it in that press box, we can give you a price to do that. And we can do that with boring it's there, available, and for the most reasonable price. But
And the biggest thing I always tell people, what I usually end with, is peace of mind. We're going to be here for 25 years. We've been here for 25 years plus already now. We're going to be here for a lot longer. I've obviously mentioned a ton of the references we do. And us driving up here today, if that's any indication how much we care and really genuinely want to do this project for y'all, then, that's all I think I need to say, is we really do genuinely care. I live within the state, Mark lives within the state. We also have a technician that lives within the state to service you guys at any point in time in the next 25 years.
we got three boys that play ball. I want to make sure their coaches know that there's a bunch of tournaments up there for sure.
Appreciate it.
You're dang right.
Any other questions?
Turf is sharp. Turf looks good.
It is, it's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Any other questions? We appreciate you guys taking the
No,
time.
thank you guys.
All this is really informative. We really appreciate it. Remarks and inquiries by board members?
Cool. We're on schedule.
Yeah, certainly the outside is, the basin, they finally got to put some gravel down. With all the rain and everything we've had lately, they haven't been able to put the gravel down but it's down. So they're gonna, as soon as it dries out from this stuff, we should be able to start pouring concrete when the temperature gets high enough.
We're thinking this year it's going to open.
I'm thinking May.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the bathhouse is coming along a lot faster than I think they thought it would. That was their big concern. They've never been worried about the pool base and anything outside. They've been worried about the bathhouse since we drug our feet with that grant for so long. But they're on it. They're demoing inside and getting everything going, so I think they'll make it too.
Is there any update on that grant or no?
We were denied. So, but we're pursuing other avenues.